Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. It's Table Talk Day. Yeah, we didn't have one last week. I was on holiday. And so I haven't done much modelling the last week, but now we're back in anger. So we're going to talk all about what's been going on over the last couple of weeks, what's coming up, because we're getting into September, and September's about to erupt into the start of what is going to be a very busy period as we get towards the end of the year. Also, it was my birthday yesterday as I record this, so we'll talk a little bit about that. So yeah, loads to talk about as always. Right, hello everyone. This is my second attempt at recording Table Talk this week. I'm now recording it at, 9:30 at night, because I recorded it earlier today, and when I pressed the stop button, I didn't press it hard enough and it kept recording, so when I pressed the button again to start recording, it stopped, and that carried on for nearly an hour. And pretty much everything I thought I was recording I wasn't, and all the gaps in between me recording the content I recorded. So here we are again. So first of all, a massive big welcome to all of you subscribers, old and new, and members, old and new. It's really great to see you, especially as I've been away, so there wasn't a Table Talk last week. You didn't miss it, it didn't happen. It's really fascinating over the years. We're nearly at 5 years of doing this, and I have met some of you, and there are subscribers that have been subscribers to this channel for a long time. Some of you since like week 2, week 3. And some of you I've met at Telford. You've introduced yourself, you've said hello, or you've come on the meet and greets. Some of you, Dom, have been round to his house and what have you. Some of you have lent me kits for reviews. So some of you I feel like I've got to know a certain amount. And those of you that are members and in the social group, I feel like I get to know you a little bit, and I understand your corner of the world, and we've seen where you go, we've seen what your gardens are like, and all of that sort of stuff. So I do feel like, especially with some of my long-standing subscribers, that I know you relatively well, as well as if we were in a modelling club together or something. And we have brought together a nice little community. There's a number of you that are content creators, and we sort of share that journey. We understand each other because we understand what's involved, and that though those of us with channels all do it very differently and put our own personal spin on it, it's nice to see that variety, and that everyone's channels are growing, and they're all personal, so that's why they're all different. But unfortunately, I do have to share some sad news. One of my longest subscribers, who has been there from very, very early days. Some of you will know him because he did comment regularly on the channel, and in all of the showcases that we have done, end of year showcases, he shared his builds, and you will remember them because he was the guy, Vic was his name, and he did the matchstick models. Some glorious models. He did a train, and I think a fire engine or fire tender, something like that. and it was really unique and it was very different, and I always look forward to seeing those particular models at the end of the year and see what he'd done, because I knew he was going to share something made from matchsticks. Well, unfortunately this week I got an email from his daughter Stacey to inform me that Vic has passed away, and so there won't be any matchstick model this year, unfortunately. I knew him quite well. We'd shared some emails. It wasn't just that he'd commented. We had emailed once or twice about certain things, and Vic was a big fan of the channel, you know, and his daughter said, you know, said something along those lines. So very sad news that there's one less of us, that Vic has passed away. But for those of you that knew him, that might have commented on his comments, that saw his matchstick kit, sorry, he will be sadly missed, because his contributions were always cherished by me. So yeah, sad news, but I know Vic would have wanted us to just carry on and keep sharing the love of the hobby that we've all got. So you know, I'm sure all of you share my deepest condolences, and my thoughts are with his daughter Stacey and Vic's family at this time, and I'm sure many of you will echo that. So by all means, if you did know Vic, even if it was just to talk to in the comments, feel free to leave a comment below if you wish. Okay, so moving on, we've got quite a bit to get through. We've got two weeks of stuff, and in that 2 weeks, not only has it been busy because I've been away on holiday and stuff, but Gaahleri has burst back into life with 3 new product launches, 2 major product launches. So we're going to talk about 2 of the 3 this week. We'll do the 3rd one next week. We've got to talk about what's been on the bench. We've got to talk about what's happening as August comes to an end and September starts. So without further ado, let's get on with what happened 2 weeks ago. So when we last had a table talk, and I actually want to go back to the 15th of August, which was the Friday before the last table talk you saw, when we had the Lady Eleanor, part 1 of the Lady Eleanor. So I decided it would be a good opportunity to launch the Lady Eleanor build on a Friday. That's when I have people coming along, chatting while the video plays, and it just gets it out there. So in that first episode, we basically made the skeleton of the hull here, and I just wanted to go over what we're doing with that, because now Sherborne's finished, there may be some people thinking, right, okay, I've learned the basics, I'll go and try and build this or this or this, and by all means you could do that. What I'd say is tread wisely, don't bite off more than you can chew. The point of doing the second video is to go beyond what we did in the first video, and as you know, I plan to do 4 absolute beginners builds, and we're going to build on each one of those with new tasks and new methods, and give you variety when achieving the same thing. So for example, in the Sherborne video we did basic planking. In the Lady Eleanor video we've done cutting planks to scale lengths, which is less appropriate for Vanguard kits because there's so little planking in them as a general rule, but is a handy skill for other kits. Also show you a different method of doing steelers and droppers, so they look more like they've been done by a shipbuilder. So you can see, get some light on it for you. Can we see? Oh, the lighting's not very good in the evenings, I'm afraid. You can see the squared off rather than wedges. So now I won't get that lighting right. So we're building on what you learn and upping your skills, but I'm doing it in bite-sized chunks so that you don't get overfaced. Because I had lots of people watching those Sherborne videos who were clearly seasoned model builders, and they were going, oh well, I do it this way and I do it that way. Well, yeah, hold your horses. This is for absolute beginners and building upwards. So I will be showing you all of these bits and pieces and how we go about that sort of thing. Different methods, methods that I recommend and that I like, but I'll also show you some other methods that I don't particularly use, so you've had the full gamut of what's possible. So for example, when we come to do the Grecian, I'm going to show you the correct way of tying off Bailey pins. So we haven't really got that opportunity on this build. On the Sherborne, what we've done is just done the standard figure of 8 and let the line hang and glued it all down, and that's great. It does the job, it holds it taut, it looks okay. For your first build, it's absolutely fine. But on the actual ship, there'd be a figure of 8, and then there's a coil, and then the coil's slung around the top of it. Now I see a lot of people try and emulate this. I see a lot of people do this, and it's completely wrong. But they get a little square block of wood and they put a nail in the top and they put a nail in the side, and then they wrap this coil of thread around it and glue it with a bit of white glue and lift it off, and then they hang it over the Bailey pin. And you know, it looks okay, but it's not the correct way of doing it. And so many people do it in the wrong direction. I know I'm being a bit nerdy, but if you want to do it authentically and make your ship look authentic, you need to understand how it's done. So I will show you that, but you've got to wait to the Grecian build, and then we'll do copper tiles and so on and so forth, and then in the last one we'll be looking at paint effects and weathering and that sort of stuff. So in this build, we are building on the techniques we've already done, expanding on them, showing you different methods. So for example, everyone was asking me about how to do this using wood glue, second planking using wood glue. So I have shown you that, but I personally don't like that method. It takes around about 10 times as long to put second planking on with wood glue as it does with thick CA gel, which is what I used in the Sherborne. It is definitely the best method, and I understand people being a bit nervous first build and should I use wood glue or not. But what I say to you is get your planks so that they fit, and then you just glue them in. Spend the time test fitting, getting those planks right, and it won't be a problem. So yeah, I have done wood glue on this down to about that point there, and then that's it. I've gone back to CA glue just to get it finished. So I'm planked on this side fully. I'm nearly done on this side. So yeah, I will get that done this week because I'm still on holiday this week. It's Wednesday as I'm recording this. So that's the point of Lady Eleanor, and I'm a bit concerned that some people will go, oh well, I'm not going to do the fishing boat because I'm not interested in it. It's still worth doing because the fishing boat is a slightly older style of making models, and there's loads and loads of ship models out there where you're doing full planking and then maybe even cutting gun ports out and stuff like that. So it's good practice and good skills to learn. So we're also going to do fishermen and staining sails and stuff that we won't be doing on any of the others. So it's a good way of you learning some of the extra stuff that you may come across on different brands of kits. that's, you know, there's a number of reasons why we chose this kit. But I would urge you, if you don't want to do this, to tread carefully and don't go buying a £300 or £400 kit and expecting because you've done Sherborne you should be okay doing it. You may be, but what I'm concerned about is people overfacing themselves and then it ends up as a shelf queen and then they never build another wooden ship. You need to progress and learn and build on your skills. So that's what we're going to do in there. So we've done the first episode. The second episode won't come out until I've done the first planking and the second planking, and I know that we're sort of in a position to start putting out videos fairly regularly. So I want to sand, fill, sand, and be at the point where I'm about to paint before we start putting more videos out. But that's fine because we've got plenty of content to work through. We've got the Junkers to finish off. We've got the Panzer 1 that we've got material to get going, and of course we've got Sherborne to jump back on. So there's loads going on, plus we're about to launch some more builds, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So that was that Friday. Then we had the table talk, and then I went away. But on the Monday, I was keen to get out the introducing Kaleido. I think it's an abbreviation of kaleidoscope, as in lots of colours that you can mix together and make different patterns, and they've used that idea. So I think in the video I called it Kaleido, but I think it's Kaleido. So I wanted to get that out, the new paint system from Gaahleri. They are talking very big about it. I know one or two people have tried it because some of my subscribers have told me so. I have deliberately not watched because I want to give my own feelings and results. I have started playing with them, so I've used all the primers. I've got the 4 primers, so that's the grey, the white, the matte black and the gloss black, and they've all been put on here. And what I can say is they are super tough. When they are properly dried, that is never coming off. I've scratched with my thumbnail, I cannot scratch it off. All I can do is polish it. So you can see, again, the light's not so good now, but you can see that that one is the gloss side, and that'll be handy for some of the metallic colours. So I'm now in a position where I can start playing with the paints. So I've got three of the 4 sets that you can get, and I've got some exclusive news to share when it comes to those paint systems. I don't believe anyone else has announced this. I think I might be the first. You can correct me if you've heard this elsewhere, but they are going to develop some specific military paints. They've asked me about it. I asked them, would they be developing military colours? They came back to me and said yes, that was an intention, and then they asked me for some guidance on what colours I felt. So I spent a bit of time comprising colours for military vehicles, aircraft, and ships. And the thing is, you could go on forever. You could have multiple shades of olive drab. There's a classic. Olive drab, that's not a colour, it's a whole spectrum of colours that you can do. The whole point of the Kaleido paint system is about mixing. They've been designed with mixing in mind, so they give you enough colours to be able to do the full spectrum by mixing what you've got. That's the whole intention of them. So with that in my mind, I've given them colours that we've not got, that we would need. So a rubber black, for example, because doesn't matter what country the vehicle comes from, it's got a tyre on it, it's going to need rubber black, and also clear orange for indicators, clear red for brake lights, a natural wood for tools, and so on and so forth, an anti-fouling red for a ship's hull. And there are specific colours and non-specific colours in aircraft, but you think about the RAF, you'd absolutely want a dark earth colour, which is not in the range. You need a a dark green and then you need the grey and a night black, but you can probably get that from one of the others, so we don't worry about the black. You're gonna need an RAF sky blue for undersides, and so it goes on. So I gave them my sort of starter list of colours. I imagine they're going to put these into sets, so I sort of said, you know, these are the colours you could consider. I mean, warships, I do a load of different greys. I mean, there's not much in the way of greys there. You're making your own greys. So yeah, there will be military colours coming. I'm hoping, well, I absolutely will get them as soon as they develop them. I don't know what the timeline is, but yeah, military colours on the way. When I do the paint videos, if I remember, my memory's getting really bad at the minute. I don't know why. I'll mention it in those videos. So I'm going to be playing with the paints maybe this weekend, seeing where we go with that, and then we'll get that video out as soon as we can. But I just wanted to get the introduction out. I know some of you have been buying them and having a play because I've seen that activity going on. So we did that, and then that was it then, because I was on holiday. So we was in Wales. It was just Paula and me. We booked a caravan because it was working out cheaper than booking a hotel, and it gives us more space. We took a jigsaw to do in the evenings. You can't do that in a budget hotel room because you've just not got the space to do it. So whereas we had a big table, so it works better for us. And if you still treat it as a base and a bed, then that's all right. But you know, I was able to make a salad in the evenings. We'd eat out for lunch and then have a light salad or something in the evenings, and I could, you know, rustle that up in the caravan quite easily. Whereas again, with the hotel, you'd be going out and spending more money on another meal, so it costs you more. So yeah, we did that. We were just west of Portmaddock, sort of between Portmaddock and Abersoch, not quite as far over as Pwllheli, but you know, about 10 minutes away from Pwllheli maybe. So yeah, it was a really nice area, but you wouldn't want to go with a young family because there was nothing to do for kids. I mean, it's not like going to Blackpool or something, which is geared up for, lives on visitors. It was almost not visitor friendly. I mean, even like Abersoch, which is like the main holiday destination, famous holiday destination on that stretch of coast, there wasn't much to do. It was go and sit on the beach. Now there was a beach where we were staying. We went on the first night for a wander over, and it was completely covered in seaweed and it absolutely stunk. So we didn't visit it again. But we had a nice time. The whole point was just to chill out, a complete break of pace, and we managed to achieve that. And a lot of Wales has got new speed limits at 20 miles an hour, and do you know what? Really enjoyed that. We were able to see what was going on. We were slowing down. There was no congestion. It was a lot less stressful. It worked, and you know, I got a speed limiter on my car, so I could just set it at 20, and there you go. So yeah, we enjoyed it. We had a nice break. I will do a video on it because I know I have people all over the world watching these videos, and we have many people that have never been and may never come to the UK, so they always find it interesting when I've been going around the UK to see what it's looked like and what have you. So they're always interesting. We'll do it as a standalone video rather than showing a few pictures here and now, because I've got plenty to be talking about anyway, and we'll perhaps do that as a members video and then release it a bit later for subscribers. Okay, so that gets us then to Monday. And we did the Titanic visit video. So far that's a members only video. Next time I put a members only video out, then I'll turn it to a subscribers video. And what happens when I do that is it appears again as a new video. So if you're a member and you've watched the video because it was members only, once it becomes subscribers, you will get a notification again. Nothing I can do about that. That's a YouTube thing. So yeah, so that's why, I mean, I've had a comment about I've already watched this, but it's come up as a new thing. Well, that's why. So yeah, the visit to the Titanic exhibition in Manchester, it's now finished. Where it moves on to next, I don't know. I believe it started in Belfast. Belfast is highly likely a place we are going to go to in the next 24 months and do the Titanic Museum there, because I've never done it. And Paul has talked about doing that. I've also got Greenwich Museum on the to-do list for next year, and we're also talking about possibly doing Berlin next year, so which is on my bucket list as a military history enthusiast. But Paula's got arthritis in her hip, and she's very much taking the view of, let's go and do bucket list stuff now, because in 5 years' time I don't even know if I'll be walking about or not. So, you know, it makes sense to do the stuff we definitely want to do while we can. So, yeah, that then gets us to Wednesday, Hurricane and Ground Crew. So apologies, there's a little gap in the middle of the video where the back end of the hurricane bit disappears and the front end of the set of figures disappears. I can't find that material anywhere, and I didn't notice that when I was editing. I'm showing you how I edit, and so sometimes I can miss these things. What I think's happened is, when I've been moving videos off my memory card in the camera onto the computer, I have moved a block of videos into a folder, maybe like a build folder like the Lady Eleanor, and they're in with the ones that I moved mistakenly. That's the only thing I can think of, but I don't appear to have that video footage to be able to repair it and put it back out again, so it is what it is. Nice set of ground crew though. If you're interested in the hurricane video, I have already done a full review of that, the tropical hurricane, not a Spitfire, as someone noticed said at the time. So, right, then that gets us to Friday coming, yesterday for you. That should be Junkers 8. I think that could be the last one. I've not edited it yet, and I'm out tomorrow, so the pressure is on. So yeah, Junkers 8, I'm expecting that we'll have that out Friday, and I think it's probably the last one. If it's sort of going to be an hour and a half to get it over the line, I might do it, but I suspect we've not got a lot more to do. It was mainly decals and detail painting, I think. Final thoughts and pictures. Right then. Yeah, so, and then that gets you to today. So, let's talk about what's coming up, because we've got a very busy week with videos coming up. Starting with later tonight. Later tonight, 7:30 p.m. UK time, we have a live stream. Me and good friend of the channel, Peter Oxley, who some of you will know that we've had a bit of banter running over the last few months about UFO and Space 1999. That may be a feature of our live stream, I don't know. We have come up with a couple of things we want to talk about. So we want to talk about gimmicks to sell models. That's a subject that I'm very interested in exploring. Peter wanted to talk about mental health in the hobby, which I'm always up for as a mental health practitioner at work. So I thought that was a really good topic to have a play with and bounce around. But there'll also be an opportunity to ask questions and so on and so forth. And, you know, we plan for an hour. Let's see if we can keep it under 3. Because once we get talking, Peter and I, we just seem to just keep talking. So it will be fascinating. So that's tomorrow night, 7:30. And if you've got, I know it's late notice, if you've got something arranged, don't worry, you can just cancel it, because watching Peter and me will be way more fun, whatever it is you're doing. Right, that then gets us to Sunday. Sunday is the last day of the classic group build. So that's your deadline for finishing. So you need to finish it that day and then send me 4 photographs. I've already put a video out explaining what you need. So I will put a little video out which ends that classic group build and reminds you to put out, email me the photographs of your work. 4 photographs, modelkitstuff@gmail.com. I need to know the age of the kit, the brand of the kit, the subject, and the name you want displaying. So if you sent me an email with your finished build on before the 18th, I am likely to miss it, so send it again. Okay? Right. Okay, so that is Sunday. Monday, 1st of September, is the launch of the members only group build. Told you we were busy, didn't I? And that's called Wheelie Things. And we've already talked about that. I will be putting on that day in the social group for the members that have access to it, a thread where you can show me your contents of your kit unstarted with a timestamp. Which you can use your phone, which will have a day and a time on, and a date on, and you take a picture of that and you put it in there. If you're one of the members who doesn't have access to the social group, then you can simply email me that picture, and that's fine. But if we don't have evidence at the start of the build that you hadn't started it, it won't be in the showcase at the end of the build. So don't think I won't be keeping the pictures for reference, because I will be. You've got 6 months to do the Wheelie Things build. So that takes us up to the last day of February, and then first day of March we start the group build for all subscribers. Whatever that might be, well, actually, I say that, I know what it's going to be. So that we won't be going to the subscribers this year and going, do you know what, let's just decide what the group build's going to be, because I've already decided. Hi, hope you're enjoying the video. I put a lot of effort into making these videos, putting them together, recording them, editing. It takes up so much time. I would really love it if you could just hit that like button for me. It will take you a fraction of a second and it costs you nothing. And it means so much to me and the channel, and will help other people who might enjoy this video find it. You done it? Thank you. Then on Wednesday, we're going to introduce you to this bad boy. This is another new release from Gaahleri. It's called the Apex Force. What a cool name that is. It sounds like something the Americans do, dropping out of helicopters and the like. But actually, it's a compressor, but it's super, super quiet. I've had a play with it. I've already recorded the video for this for Wednesday. It's a twin tank compressor that will run multiple airbrushes. It'll also run things like air-powered staplers and drills and stuff like that. It's very, very powerful, but it's as quiet as my fridge. If I sit quiet and don't move and just record the decibels in the kitchen, we're at about 36 decibels when totally quiet in here. When I switch this compressor on, the noise goes up to 40 decibels. So it's adding about 4 decibels of volume. Now in the video when I do it on the table, so we get a bit of vibration, and it's about 60. So it's doubling the room noise, but compared to my old Sparmax compressor, which I considered a really quiet compressor when I bought it, it just slays it. It's quite big though. The footprint is 3 times the size of the compressor I've got now, although it's shallower. but it's also wider, so it's about 1/2 metre long. It's a big bit of kit, and it's not for the occasional airbrusher, but it really is for someone who does a lot of airbrushing. And like me, I'm in a kitchen, so I've got bedrooms above me and I've got a living room there, so there's times in the evening when I can't do airbrushing because it's going to disturb people watching the telly. There's times early in the morning I can't do airbrushing because it's going to wake everyone up. That's no longer a problem. I can airbrush anytime I like now. So it's an expensive bit of kit. It's a serious purchase, but for serious modelers or modelers who have got the same problems that I've got, they're modelling in the house, in a bedroom, in a living room, whatever it is, this could be a really handy solution for you if you can justify the money on it. So I have one, I've had a play with it. If you remember last year I did airbrushing for absolute beginners. In the first episode we focused on the different types of compressors and how it's the heart of your system and the most important thing, and you build your budget from I'm going to buy this compressor, what have I got left, and go from there. And I described the 3 different compressors. Well, this is an oil compressor, so from time to time you do have to top it up with refrigeration oil every 200 hours of use or something like that, but it's that oil motor that gives you that super quiet. So it's refrigeration oil, so it's a similar motor as you've got in your fridge, only this is a bit more powerful. So yeah, really nice bit of kit. You'll be seeing that on Wednesday. So like I say, I've recorded that, and then Friday next week we have the first episode in the Tamiya Panzer 1 video using Tamiya enamels. So we'll be starting that build series then, and that's going really interestingly. Since I got back off holiday, I've had 2 things on my bench. One is the Lady Eleanor, because I'm desperately trying to get the second planking finished so I can sand and fill, sand again, and then start releasing the next videos, which will come out on Wednesdays as a rule, but not every Wednesday. I've got some model ship book reviews to do, and I've just done a video on how to properly tie a belaying pin, for example. But I've also had the Panzer 1 on the bench as well, so let me show you progress on that. So I'm just at the point of putting the decals on, and they have gone down dreadfully. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. They've gone down dreadfully. Why? Because they're Tamiya decals, and the one thing Tamiya cannot do is make a decent decal. So yeah, I've got to spend a little bit of time settling them. So they've gone on. I've used strong decal setting fluid, stronger than Microsol. I've used the Humbrol decal fix, which is a good strong one, but it does leave a stain, which you then have to work through with clear coating and what have you. So we've got those to finish settling. We have got the suspension on, the wheels on, and weathered again in enamel paints. We're sticking to just the paints that were supplied in the kit for everything, including the little diorama base. Now it's funny that I mentioned the diorama base, because a moment ago I was talking about I've decided what the group build is for next year, and the group, what I've decided is, see tons of models on their own, and you don't always see the context. And if you're a model car builder, then you're really not going to see, or maybe don't understand the context of an aircraft or a military vehicle or indeed a ship. So next year's group build that'll start off in March, here's an early heads up for you. It's going to be called In Context, and that means you have to show something, display that model in a way that we get the context. So if you build a lorry, we need a lorry driver next to it, so probably on a bit of tarmac to give it some context, some relevance, maybe pin it to a period. So if you're going to do a 1956 Ford Thunderbird, you might want to do it with an American 50s burger diner in the background. I don't know. If it's a ship, you may want to put it in a seascape. So you may want to put it in a little diorama or a little scene or something that gives it context. So that's what's going to be the group build next year. I'm going to do the Hurricane with the ground crew and the Albion fueler. Is that right? I don't know. And that's going to give the Hurricane some context. You'll get a better understanding of size because you've got the figures. You'll get an understanding of how these things were fueled and flew, and the number of people just to maintain it. You know, it's not just about the pilot. You know, the pilot's dead if the other people aren't doing their job. So it's giving context. That's the idea. So that's the group build for next year. So you can start thinking about that now. You've got until March. Right, so I think that is it for everything coming up in the next week. We've talked about what's been on the modelling bench. What else have we got? Well, September we've got 2 new builds happening. So the Space 1999 build is launching on, just checking the date because it's not the correct date. It should be Saturday the 13th of September because that's the day that the moon goes rogue and disappears away from Earth's orbit. But we're actually going to do it on the Friday night. So we're going to do the first episode on the Friday night. And I address the UFO Space 1999 thing there. We do it. We do it in that introduction, and we talk about the series, why I'm passionate about it, why it's my favourite, one of my favourite TV series of all time, and certainly my favourite sci-fi series. So we go through all of that. I compare it to UFO. We introduce the build. So that is recorded, it's uploaded, it's ready to go on the 12th of September. So that's coming up. What you're seeing behind me is part of the introduction titles. So originally I was trying to do the introduction titles like the season 1 introduction titles. And I'd found a piece of music, I found an orchestra playing Space 1999, and it said you can have the music license free. But what I didn't know was I wouldn't be able to monetize my video if I used that music. So I've used it for the trailers because it doesn't really matter, you know, with the trailers. But for my main build videos, I need to monetize it. That's, you know, otherwise the cogs stop turning on the channel. So I asked my daughters to do something that I could use in that title piece, because in the titles you get this Space 1999 logo, and I didn't want to use the actual logo because it may be copyrighted. So I've got my kids to do their rendition of it. Would you like to see it? Let's show it you. You'll also get some of the music that's been used in the title piece for the series. So this is the artwork that my 2 daughters have done. So Alice did the little blue planet there and the Space 1999 wording, and she's got it pretty much bang on. That's drawn freehand digitally on her iPad. And then my eldest daughter has done the more complex eagle there, and you can see she's put shine on it and all that, and she's captured it really, really well. She's done it in a shadow way to make sure it was definitely distinctive from how it was originally seen. I've then put the moon in, so their picture sort of ended there, and when I've put it on, created it as a thumbnail so that I could use it, I had a space, so I moved it to one side to reduce the margin. We put my logo in and we put the moon in, and I think that looks pretty cool. I also put the Eagle One full build in. So yeah, my kids did a really good job of that, proud of them for that. So we put that in. So we've now got a little piece of title music and some titles. They are loosely based on the original season 1 titles, so we take elements of them, we don't use the whole thing. Originally I was planning to sort of try and emulate it as best I can with a little bit of humour, but eventually, as I've done more and more, I mean, I must have done at least a dozen iterations of the titles. We've got down to something that's snappy, not too long, but keeps the feel. So in the original series you got this episode and you got little snippets of what's coming up to sort of whet your appetite. So I've done the same, for example, but I'm not going to spoil it. I'm quite looking forward to that build. So that starts in September. There might then be a little bit of a break because I won't be starting the Eagle until the Panzer's done, and that's another build I'm trying to finish before I go back to work on Monday. Bit of a task, but I'm up for trying at least. So yeah, there we go. That's what's coming up in September. That, and then I think all of you know now that for the members build, I'm doing the General Lee. I'm doing season 1 General Lee. Having looked at the kit, it's closest to the season 1, although it does have some omissions. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of scratch building. It doesn't have the radio antenna, it doesn't have the CB aerial, and it doesn't have the little oxidized aluminium strips on the rear pillar. So it's a 1969 Dodge Charger, although they did sometimes use 1970s ones in later seasons when they were getting a bit thin on the ground because someone kept writing them off. You know, only 2 per episode. Dukes of Hazzard single-handedly created crazy prices for Dodge Chargers because they were, at that time when they were making the series, they were 10 a penny, of course. You know, because like 5-year-olds, nobody is interested, scrappy cars. And of course, cars in the 70s, they became scrap quite quickly because they just rotted, didn't they? Anyway, all 1969 Dodge Chargers have vinyl roofs, and of course the General Lee doesn't because it's got the Confederate flag painted on it, so the vinyl roof is removed. But the little detail that used to end that, because the company that made the Dodge Charger, Chrysler is it, they didn't actually paint the roof, they just put the vinyl on top, and then it had this little strip at the end of the vinyl. Now in the actual TV series, all 7 of them, sometimes it's got them, sometimes it's not, because they're using lots of different cars and building them to look a bit like the General Lee, so swapping doors and all of that sort of stuff. But in season 1 it generally always has it, and this is more like a season 1 car than anything else. It's got the narrow bull bars. I think we might have talked about it before. So yeah, I can't film the start of that though until the 1st of September, but that's the other build. I've got 6 months to do it, so we'll dip in and out of it, but we're going to spend a lot of time on getting a really nice body finish on it, and I'm going to show you some little tricks that you've perhaps not seen me do on the channel before. So we've got 1 or 2 little things to do on there, particularly how to make really good looking glazed dash dials and what have you. So and rear view mirror and so on and so forth. So yeah, all of that to come. So lots going on. Let's see, what else have we got? Well, if you are looking forward to the surprise coming out first quarter 2026, Vanguard Models have put new pictures up on their Facebook page. Go and check them out. Basically the hull of the ship is completed now, all the woodwork done and the photo etch on, so you can see it in its raw base colours state. She looks absolutely stunning. She's not particularly recognisable as Surprise if you don't know it's Surprise, because she does look different to what you get in the movie, because in the movie there's like a poop deck and there's not actually on this model. So that's or doesn't appear to be on the model that's being shown. So so it is quite different. It's also longer, but the stern gallery generally looks the same, and obviously the figurehead's the same. I noticed there was a nice little touch with 3D printed resin detail underneath the quarter galleries, which is a really nice touch, better than cast metal or having to carve it out of wood yourself. So that's really nice. I mean, it looks splendid. Very excited to get my hands on a kit at some point and build it. So it was my birthday actually yesterday as I record this. I became 55. So one of my birthday presents was the full set of Peter O'Brien books, the Master and Commander books. I've never read them before. When I first got them I thought, oh, this won't be too bad. There's 21 novels and they printed them in tiny writing on Bible thin paper. So actually this box set that's like this, and it's actually really heavy, it's going to take a long time to read. Well, what I will be doing, I've already said this, is I will build Surprise as per the books, not the film, which allows me to be closer to the kit but also nod to the film whenever I like. So yeah, we'll have the famous bronze stern chasers and what have you. I don't think, looking at the pictures I've seen so far, but this might not be the case, I don't think there was any swivel guns on her, whereas there definitely is in the film. And there's other things that people are going to pick out as in the film being different. So it'll be really interesting. You know, there's a lot of people who will be fanatical about the film and will want the model to emulate the film to the last detail. That's never going to be possible. I mean, fundamentally different length ship, so you can't stretch that. So it is going to be interesting, but when I build it, I will build it with some nods to the film. So I might put the little, in the spotting top, I might put the little carved in JA and a date, but correct the date, because the date shown in the film is before Surprise is built. So Surprise is carving on wood that's not been built yet. So we'll do these little nods to it, and see how we go. I need to find someone that does 1/64 chickens. It'd be really nice to have some chickens on the on there. Also, the deck layout is very different to the film. So in the film, you've got two sets of gratings, two exits, two companionways, and on the actual Surprise, as Chris has modelled it, you've got this single one. So very, very different. Anyway, the model looks stunning. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Now, I did say that I've been to see the prototype being built. I need to do a voiceover on that video. I plan to do that on Friday. And so we will get that out as an extra video at some point. It won't be for members only. We'll make it for all subscribers. Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. It's a complete exclusive to Model Kit Stuff. We've done a couple of exclusives in one episode, haven't we? Right then, so yeah, I think that covers off everything for this week. I'm bound to have forgotten something, but I can't remember what it is, so that's okay. Right, You have a great week, and everyone's coming back to the modelling benches now as we get to September. If it's still a bit warm for you, or you're not quite finding your mojo for modelling, and you know you're not quite ready, do some cleaning, organise your paints, top up your glues, get yourself ready. You'd be surprised how just tidying up and wiping everything down clears the mind and just gets you in the zone. So 1st of September we need to start doing the members group builds and finishing those floaty things and so on. So lots to be doing, people. Always something to be doing in the hobby all year round. So until the next time you enjoy your modelling, it's the most important thing. I will see you soon. Bye for now.